Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Welcome to Talking with TalksALot, the variety talk show that keeps you asking, what the hell? Today's extra special guest is a pixel art wizard, a world-class musician, and a downright chipper chap, Mike Evans. If you couldn't tell, I was rushed for the intro, so I just went with whatever voiceover I could come up with. Hello, everyone.
And that reminded me of like a, what's that, the old school boxer announcement? In the red corner.
Yeah, I love doing that. In the red corner, weighing at 297 pounds, it's Lizzo. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, everybody's so happy. So how you doing today, Mike?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks so much for inviting me back on the show. It's lovely to speak with you. Hey, chat, what's up? And finished work, ready to chill. How about you?
Hell yeah. I am good, sir. I'm finally found a song that I'm actually okay with making. I've run into that little lyricist's problem of like all these lyrics sound like shit. And I don't want to make this song. But I finally found one that's right up my alley. So it's
fantastic.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Speaking of the chat, let's take a minute to say hello to all these lovely people here. Vince Womack, greetings and salutations. And Raz Rayana Spires. Hello. I think I remember you from the last time Mike was on here. Glad to have you back.
Yeah, Raz rocks.
Omega. There we go. Stupid thing wouldn't listen. Good to see you, brother. Boosh McFadden. He says he sent me a picture of his breakfast. Well, thank you, sir. I'll make sure to check the Gilded. If you're not on the Gilded, make sure to join TalksALot Townsquare. Link is in the description.
That's a pretty intimate thing, showing the breakfast.
Yeah, he does some really good cooking. That man seems like he's a culinary genius, honestly. Makes me hungry every time I go there.
Fantastic.
Vince says, Mike has a groupie. Well, being as an amazing musician as he is and looking as good as he does, I'm pretty sure he has a few groupies. But his wife's like, suck it. He's mine. And that's funny shit. So what's been going on lately there, bro?
What generally life?
There's
X-RL7, there's a new episode out right now. If I spam the promotion in this casual bit here. Episode 20 called The Method. Got Andy Sizek of the band Monuments in, David Dutton of the band Gen Cab, Avi Ghosh, still not sure how you say his name, Avi Ghosh or Gosh, of the band Art vs. Industry. We got lots of really awesome people, and it's a heavy ass song in that episode. And yes, animating, got a behind the scenes thing to animate later. That's I'm trying to get motivated to do. But yeah, it's going well, man.
That's awesome. Hell yeah. I am definitely looking forward to future episodes of X-RL7. I have not been disappointed with any of them so far. So
you're too kind, dude. You're too kind. Can we drop a little announcement here about
sure.
What's going on? Well, I'll tell you what, episode 21, it's in development, it's been animated, but it does feature some voices from some familiar voices. We've got a few people from the Dix division, including the one and only, the amazing Sir TalksALot.
Yes, sir. I had a lot of fun working on that project with you, and I look forward to everybody getting to see it. I won't spoil anything for our fans out there, but it's fucking hilarious.
Thank you, sir.
I love the scene that he put together, and when you find out the rest of the people involved, it'll be even better.
Great voice acting, dude. I've actually got a voice acting question for you. I was curious, man, because you've got like a huge range of voices, dude. You can do so much stuff. I want to know, is it harder when you voice act in your own voice, like the one that's closest to your speaking voice, or is it just like any other voice?
It's actually the most difficult for me to do my normal voice because I, like many people, hate my normal voice, especially hearing it through a recording. Like when I watch the replays on these to clip some things out and stuff like that, I'm like, God, how does anyone listen to this. Things in voice acting to actually accomplish is being authentic in your original voice while doing reads. Because for me, at least, it feels like I'm kind of lying to myself. You know, like when I'm faking a voice or something like that, it feels less false. I don't know if that makes any sense, but
oh, it does, dude. You've got a gorgeous voice, though. So
why, thank you. Had a couple more people pop in. Hail Q Who. Hail Katina Martin. Good to see you. Make sure I didn't miss anyone. I did. Our wonderful guest from last week, Ryan Roger Athay. Hey, folks. Hope you're all doing well. We are, sir. Thank you for coming.
good crowd.
Amazing. Yes. And Raz is asking for some links to be posted for the XRL7 stuff. I'm just going to go ahead and grab that real quick. It's pretty easy to find. It's usually towards the bottom of the list. So definitely. And there's the link for XRL7 official. You can also find him on Twitter under the same handle, XRL7 official. He's a fantastic guy. Stay tuned and we'll get some great stuff going. But I do have some fun news stories today. I figured we'd start off with a little something from your end of the pond.
Let's go.
Vegan restaurant flops. Owner left with no choice but to close down and begin selling meat.
I did.
So this is going to be a slight theme in today's episode, the vegan stuff, because I found some really funny vegan stories. This particular one, the restaurant owner says, continuing as a purely vegan restaurant has not been sustainable for a considerable amount of time, as there are simply not enough customers supporting us in our current format. And as for those were whining about the ethics of meat eating, management asked them to consider the ethics of putting people out of work. Do you think that it's a smart move for this restaurant?
Well, I'm debating whether or not to tell you I am actually vegan now.
Oh, okay. Well, extra fun then, because I plan on poking fun at vegans today.
Fantastic. Well,
it's a good thing you have a good sense of humor. Just saying.
my belly will get ready. Yeah, well, what can you say? I mean, veganism is, for me, it's just like, I do it. It's like I don't force anyone else to do it. But it's getting more popular these days. A lot of bands into it. But yeah, I mean, what can you say, really? If there's no market for it, you've got to switch it up. It's good business.
Indeed. And a lot of the people that were talking about this were straight up saying that they would not go back to this restaurant now that they are serving meat.
Kind of makes sense because, if the menu's changed.
Yeah. And I have a question now, that, especially since I know you're a vegan. Is it detrimental to the existence of a restaurant for you if they serve meat?
No, not at all, dude. Because I'm very much of a you do you sort of thing. So no, man. My wife isn't vegan. She's what's the word? What's the one where you just eat fish and pescatarian or something?
Yeah,
something
pescatarian.
Like no, man. My attitude is very much you do you and I do me. So.
Well, that's awesome. It's good to know that not all vegans in the world are crazy like some of the people I saw in these comments. I should have screenshotted the comments because they were a bit much.
Dude, there's some crazy vegans out there. I think as well, like the ones that are like the ones that go mental about it. It's like, you've got to change your lifestyle. You've got to do that. That is the number one way to get someone to stand their ground and like put their guard up. Because as soon as you say you're wrong, you've got to change, I'm right. Then that's the first thing someone's going to do is say, like, no, you saying I'm wrong, you're wrong,
Yeah. Getting defensive is one of the most natural human responses, especially when it feels like you're being attacked. And obviously some vegans like to attack people. It happens.
Bite out people.
Click. This one, we'll just move on to the trans activist community because this was ridiculous. Trans activists leave more than 60 bottles of urine outside of Equality and Human Rights Commission in protest of being banned from public toilets.
Wow.
Yeah, so they went full Indian on this particular one and just decided to piss all over the place.
Yeah, they must have been really pissed off.
Yeah, a little bit. Q Who says lovely. Indeed. You can always count on some crazy activists to do some crazy shit. In this case, protesters held a piss-in outside of the Equality and Human Rights Commission. They left more than 60 bottles outside the office, and a demonstrator poured urine on herself, saying that they have blood on their hands. The demonstration was in protest to the single-sex toilet policy.
You got some fun aromas there.
Well, first of all, I'm going to say they took the piss right out of the movement when they decided to start pissing. This is one of the most disgusting things I've heard of these people doing.
Yeah, that's pretty gross. I'm just wondering if they watched each other doing it, like gathered round, all pissing at the same time.
Right.
Comparing colors,
Oh my gosh, you need to drink more water. I mean, I'm all for a peaceful protest, but not so much a pissful protest.
It's very true. How long have you been thinking of that?
Not to go into whatever toilet you want. There's public safety issues that come along with allowing these people into whatever toilet they want to go into. Right?
Absolutely, man. Even in jails, there's people that have had not very nice things done to them, in a shared situation like that. So yeah, there's definitely an element to it that needs to be investigated, but you can't just piss it all away. But there you go.
Indeed. So, I think, yeah. The anonymous group. This is the anonymous group is called Pissed Off Trannies, or POT.
I think I saw them live.
So, Pissed Off Trannies, or POT.
POT.
So I just want to point out some transgender hypocrisy in this one. They're literally calling themselves trannies. Tranny is a slang word for a transvestite, which is an individual that gets sexually excited by putting on the opposite gender's clothes, which most transgender people claim that they are not. So are we having pissed off transvestites doing this now? Is that what it is? Like Big Hairy Mike's like, I just wanted to go into the pisser. But no, says ladies only. I mean...
I like the way you used the word Mike there and also a British accent. Are you trying to tell me something here?
I got to pick on you somehow, bro. I always pick on the people that I like. But this happened in Westminster, London.
Right.
When I think Westminster, I actually think of a higher class of individuals.
You're right. Yeah, it does have that air of... what's that word? Aristocracy or something like that. And that kind of upper vibe. But at least we're talking about activists here. You can't control.
This is true. Where
the commoners are doing.
Where would you assume that these people came from? I doubt they're from Westminster. So, are there any particular areas of London where you're like, oh?
I could just name anywhere. I could just pick a random place and commit to it. Let's see. I'm just gonna pick anywhere. I need a map. Man. I'm just going to say somewhere near London. I'm going to say Slough, but I love Slough, so it's just what came in my mind.
All right. Well,
because the name Slough is like such a cool sort of sounds a little bit, Slough.
All righty. You London people are weird. Over here, we just burn buildings. I mean, we don't bother peeing on things. I mean,
we're all about erosion. You got to do it slowly. You got to melt away at the foundation. It's a bit of a process. Says more.
This is true. Q Who says, as a pothead, I'd be offended, but I can't be arsed. Haha. Love the puns. Good job. Watch out for your bones. Study exposes consequences of going vegan. So this was funny to me, but it's actually got some pretty serious implications. So a study published in the BMC Medicine using results from an epic Oxford study shows that overall they found, compared to meat eaters, vegans have a higher risk of total hip, leg, and vertebral fractures, while fish eaters and vegetarians had a higher risk of hip fractures. So something about being a meat eater makes your bones healthier. Have you ever hurt your hip because of your veganism?
Not because of veganism. Yeah, maybe reaching for one of the almond milks or something. Yeah, man. No, man, I cannot say I've had any issues in that regard.
Do you feel healthy?
I do. I got to say, each to their own. But I personally feel pretty good. I'll tell you what, though. I'll tell you what. The first time I adopted a vegan diet, I did it too fast, and I lost too much weight. And I'm skinny already, dude. So that's not cool.
I feel you.
Yeah, man. So I was blitzing websites, and there's this vegan doctor called, I think, Dr. Michael Creeper or something like that. He's got this great lecture where he talks about the nutrients and vitamins that you need on a vegan diet. So I've got a whole stash of supplements and things like that. But I can totally see how without any preparation, you're going to have a problem. You're going to have some fractures and some issues and hair loss and things like that.
So you're saying diving right into a massive change of diet was probably a bad idea.
Indeed.
Doing a little research helps a little bit.
Absolutely. Which, it's when something's quite trendy, because vegan stuff's pretty trendy at the minute. It's pretty cool. It's pretty edgy.
It is indeed.
A lot of people just switch to the trend and do it without any preparation and fuck themselves up. So there you go.
Indeed. So, speaking of diets, since you're a vegan, would you consider the following? Wind turbine blades could be recycled into gummy bears. Fuck the crickets. We're going to eat wind turbines, ladies and gentlemen.
Which celebrity are we going to see demonstrating that?
Say that again?
Which celebrity are we going to see demonstrating that? We got, was it Nicole Kidman?
I'd like to see Leonardo DiCaprio get behind this one myself. I know he's big on saving the world and whatnot.
Yeah.
So we should Omega Star actually has a question or a comment regarding the veganism. He says the common mistake people make when making that transition to do with the diet itself. I can't read today, which most people get confused. I'd say that this is someone who eats meat, by the way. It's not actually due to the diet itself, but how they approach it, which is what Mike touched on. You have to be careful when making a major transition in your life, especially when it's your diet, because there are certain things that you get from meat that you don't get from the main staples of vegan diets, like kale and stuff like that people are like, oh my gosh, I'll just have a kale salad and I'll feel amazing. It's like, no, you're missing a lot of things, like carbohydrates that your body needs to create energy, proteins that your body needs to sustain muscle and bone health and stuff like this. So don't just jump into shit.
Yeah, absolutely. Things like B12, which is originally from the ground. I think it's that one that you can get from the soil, which animals eat, and it goes through there and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's worth having a little read before you make any life changes of any sort.
Indeed.
There you go.
Vince says, seldomly see a healthy looking vegan. Well, there you go. He's a healthy, and in my non-homosexual way, handsome looking vegan. So,
thank you, sir.
Indeed. This story threw me for a loop when I first saw it. But apparently, they've developed a new form of wind turbine material that the glass fibers are plant-derived and synthetic. They are long chain molecules, but you can break them down into gummy bears or other food stuff. People in the chat, people watching in the replay, make sure you comment on whether you would eat gummy bears made out of wind turbines. For this guy, it's a big no.
That's so specific, though, isn't it? Gummy bears, why not gummy dogs?
Right? I mean, come on. Who doesn't love eating dogs? We're all supposed to be Chinese here in a few years anyway.
China loves it. It's all good.
Don't want to go to that one yet. But so I've been familiar with this thing called Pika for a long time. That's literally
from
Pokemon. I wished. Pika is a mental disorder where you eat non-food stuffs.
That's less funny.
Dirt, glue. It's very, I would assume pica is very common in preschools here in America because there's a lot of glue-eating little shitheads out there. But I feel like this should almost be classified as forced pica because pica, not pica. Whatever, dude. Whatever, Boosh. Tomato. Gosh. Boosh says no. Vince says fuck no. And Katina Martin says that would be a no for me.
Seems like a hard pass.
Hey, we're back. Amazing. Apparently my internet shit out for a second. So
Awesome.
That's fun.
We're all having internet issues. Got new broadband today, man. I was telling you earlier. It's they were going to activate it at any point during the day, no specified time, any point. It's like, yeah, in a point, it could be in a business meeting, signing a deal. What can you do?
Right. Apparently, Nate D popped into the chat. Looks like he has AIDS. If you're referring to Mike, that just kind of makes you a douchebag. Anyway, let's open that back up. Indeed. Gosh, Nate.
Good Lord.
I liked Mike D so much more. That's a Bloodhound Gang joke, by the way. And I don't hate on my fans. As a matter of fact, Nate D's a wonderful person to have in your chat most of the time. When he's not saying you look like you have AIDS. Third pause, Cory froze. Yep. And it's all Boosh McFadden's fault. Back to the gummy bear thing. She's Rihanna Spires says, even if someone said I could get money for doing so, that would be a hard and loud no. Yeah, we need to stop letting these companies decide that we get foodstuffs made out of non-foodstuffs.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, universities are taking it a step too far. Next thing you know, it's going to be Soylent Green, and it's not even going to have people in it. It's going to be ridiculous. The next one I thought was one of the funniest things I'd ever read. It comes out of New Zealand, and police respond to a racist flag call in Wainaka. Find Klingon insignia.
What?
Just a joke. I kind of figured, Nate. It's all good, bro. I'm just giving you some shit. This is the flag that people were calling the police on. The article that I got this from is saying it even looks fascist. I don't know if they're familiar with the Klingon Empire or not, but they're not exactly inclusive. They're kind of assholes, a little violent, and they're fucking awesome in my opinion because you'll never find another tougher race of aliens in the galaxy.
It's true, man, and they always sound like they got something stuck in their throat.
They do. Yeah, I need to learn Klingon. That'd be fantastic.
Some good stuff.
Police responding to reports of a racist flag being flown in Wanaka property found the home was instead flying the colors of the Klingon Empire from Star Trek. The galactic mix-up was announced by the police last week in their weekly update to local residents. This week was finished, and of course, it was the Klingon flag. Klingons have redundant organs. They're awesome. Yes, they can get injured and just keep on moving because they've got backup. I mean, we've gotten to the point where colors equal fascism, apparently.
Yeah. I couldn't stare at the name of that town without thinking of the word wanker there. So,
right?
Yeah.
Right. Wanker.
A bit of a strong A on it. You wanker. But yeah. That's
So New
mental.
Zealand is obviously got some wankers in it.
Police responding to a racist flag. So police actually went around there, knocked on the door because someone said, "Oh, you got a racist flag."
Yep.
That's you calling in police on that. That's mental. That's mental.
That's New Zealand. You are incentivized to report any socially negative activity that your comrades, if you will, are doing. Literally anything that violates anyone's racial comfort, identity comfort, anything like that. You can actually spend up to a year in jail in New Zealand for misusing pronouns.
Yeah. There's recently an Irish dude, wasn't there? Irish teacher that
Mhm.
is in jail for that exact thing, or people knocking on people's doors in the UK for tweets and things that are considered harmful or hateful in some way. But it's not on the online ones. There's not a legal element to it, but it goes on record. So you're not going to end up in jail for the tweets, but it's there, and employers can see that if they're like looking at you for a job.
Yep.
Thought crime, exactly.
Indeed. So New Zealand's gone full 1984, obviously.
Yeah.
How are you doing over there in England, sir?
You mean like in what way,
I mean,
Cory?
well, I recently heard you guys are getting some price increases on your energy.
Indeed.
For instance, they're talking about closing a lot of businesses again and pubs and stuff. And how are you hanging in there, sir? Just
yeah, I'm doing my thing. Still happy to have my day job. Like hopefully be doing the animation full time one day.
heck yeah.
But yeah, just worried about other people and the country, and certainly with the stuff going on with the royalty. The old Queenie stuff.
Yeah. Did you get the 9 days of mourning? Is that?
Yes. To be honest, I'm not really following it because I'm a bit apathetic to the Royals, I must say. But I'm happy to have the bank holiday off on Monday, so it's all good. But yeah, man, it's like I have a mixed feeling about that because on one point I've got the that sort of nostalgic, romantic, like cultural thing of there being a queen, and always throughout my lifetime has been a queen, and it's this nice kind of idea. But at the same time, I'm very apathetic, and there's millions being spent on any royal event, wedding, funeral, whatever it is of taxpayer money. It could be spent helping the country. A lot of homeless people, a lot of energy cost crisis, things that could be helped. And we won't talk about the kiddie stuff, kiddie connections, but so I'm one of those people that's a bit apathetic with a wistful melancholy as well.
Okay, because I've never really paid attention to what happens when the British monarchy changes, or what happens, like how people take it and stuff, because Queen Elizabeth obviously been around for a minute. And now you guys are getting a king.
Getting a dude.
Yeah, of course, these are all figureheads. I'm sure they have some influence, but do you think this will have any effect on the way the country is actually run?
I don't believe on the way it's actually run, but certainly the social elements of it. We've got more patriarchy going on now. There was a nice kind of counterbalance of having the Queen there. There was a sort of, as I say, if I'm being tapping into the positive feelings I have, there's a nice, matriarchal kind of. It's nice having that feminine kind of energy in there as well as part of the culture. But certainly, I can see, the activists ain't getting like that. Lots of masculine energy now leading the country. But they don't. To my understanding, they have no actual political power. They're just, as you say, figureheads. And I'm not really impressed by people by virtue of the family they're born into, I must say.
Right.
So I don't mean to offend anyone who's listening who may enjoy the Queen and enjoy royalty. Fair play, go for it. I'm not impressed, man.
Yeah, it's hard to be impressed these days with anything that's going on in a political spectrum.
Yeah.
Because for so long we've had barely anything to look forward to. But
Well, I'm curious as a American citizen, in from I suppose the outside. What's the American vibe of the Queen and royalty? Is it something negative or something positive or?
Well, I don't think, from what I've seen, I don't think that there's actually strong feelings either way. There are some crackpots out there who are completely in with the family, and they were all about like the one lady, I don't know, the black-haired lady that pissed off the Queen or something like that. Like, I don't even remember her name, but you know, like, we have our groupies over here, but overall, I think that most people in America don't care. Like, to be honest,
Yeah, that makes sense.
And it's because that we see these individuals as figureheads, and I love the entertainment value that the Queen brought to my social media experiences, especially when she was like seeing children being children. She's all like, I don't like that little shit. You know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
overall, America doesn't really seem too concerned with the Queen passing.
There's jokes.
A lot of people, a lot of people are concerned about Charles and his connections with certain global elites in the world. But he's 73 years old. Okay. He's literally at the life expectancy of a man in the world right now. So I don't want to curse anybody or say anything stupid, but I don't think he's going to last as king for very long. You know, that's a lot of stress to put on somebody who's that old.
Yeah, definitely. As we've seen with certain political people in the States. So
indeed. Hail Jacob Ironside.
Yo, dude.
So let's change gears and let's start talking music, shall we?
Oh, brilliant.
So as we had mentioned previously, I am in an episode of X-RL7 coming up. Subscribe and don't miss it. But might give me the opportunity to try out a little singing. That part didn't go through because I'm not good at sustaining notes yet. So I'm going to take this opportunity. Is there any, like, are there any techniques that you would be able to just like at least name that might help me sustain notes longer?
Oh yeah. I mean, for the benefit of the viewers, this was sort of a gang vocal sequence in one of the songs where I'm trying to create a nice rich vocal thing. And yeah, I mean, like, I've been to quite a few singing teachers, and oddly enough, I'm still not great at singing, but
whatever.
It's fascinating, man, because you go to different people and they say absolutely polar opposite things, man. It's ridiculous. I went to this one like Australian one. She was like really into rock, and she was like, "Oh man, you got to push the diaphragm." I went to someone else who was more on the kind of medical sort of side, and she was like, "No, man, there's no pressure. Don't put any pressure at all." I was like, "There's a lot of conflicting things out there, so it is helpful to."
I'm sorry, you froze on my screen while you were saying that. I think my internet is fucking up pretty bad.
Okay, well, it could be mine too. So, yeah, there's a lot of. I was saying that I went to a couple of singing teachers, and they were polar.
Yeah, you got to the Australian, and then it froze.
She was lovely, but she was all about power and pushing the diaphragm and getting the grit and doing that stuff. I went to someone else, and she was very much coming from this scientific attitude, and she was like, don't put any pressure at all, you know, don't do any stress or you'll hurt your throat. And I was like, I've got to put some. And she was like, well, no, I've done degrees, like, you know. But so it is a case of finding what works best for you. But I will say mixed voice was a game changer for me. Mixed voice,
okay,
which it's a more nasal sort of sound, but it allows you to connect the chords better. And I now go to it by default, and it just helps me hit so many more notes.
Okay.
So it's that sort of nasal sort of sound, as opposed to you have a bit of placement. You do. I'm no expert. I you know.
I'm not looking for expertise. I'm looking for advice. Mixed voice singing technique.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a lot of stuff about it. It helps me a lot, and the way I learnt it is because in my band Mixie One, I started that band kind of as a bit of reaction to my previous band, right? And I was I kind of wanted to have a bit more control of the lyrics, right? Because the previous band was very poetic and beautiful, but very victim, very woe is me, very whatever. And I wanted to make something a bit more romantic, a bit more empowering. So, going off on a tangent here,
You're good.
I did something. I did it on my own, but I was using autotune a lot,
Okay.
to help with, because I was more about the songwriting. But then, as things progressed, you got to play live. And my God, it did not go well. Oh, Christ. The first show we had, man, it was an embarrassment, dude. For some reason as well, I made the decision to I was wearing earplugs like every rehearsal. On the day, I was like, no, I'm not going to wear earplugs. It'll be fine. So I couldn't hear shit. And it was an embarrassment, dude. But it prompted me to look at some lessons, pretty serious, and looked at some stuff online, and went to a few singing people, and yeah, man, mixed voice.
Okay.
You were looking at screaming a while ago, weren't you?
Yeah. I'm still working on the Zen of screaming lesson plan. I'm still stuck on the don't be a pussy part because I'm worried about hurting my vocals. But as a voice actor, it was drilled into my head. So I'm trying to not be a pussy and just scream things. Not like just randomly like, ah, but I'm trying to, she brought up, Rihanna brought up false chord screams and fry screaming. If I remember correctly, I've been working on the fry scream. I will not do it for you live.
If you want a great example of fry screaming, where you can really hear that the dude's fry screaming, aesthetic perfection. The dude, Daniel Graves, who plays Devi Divine in X-RL7, he's got a very light fry scream. There's some people that add a bit more voice to it, but his is very that kind of fry sound. You can really hear what he's doing. So it's very fascinating to check that out. But then there's other people like, to name drop more episodes, the latest one with Andy Sizek, he does both. He does fry, but he adds more yell to it, so it sounds a bit thicker. And he also does the growly false chord. They're good techniques, man. It's fry saves your voice a lot of pain.
Okay, that's good to know. I will double down on the fry scream then.
But that said, that audio you sent me for one of the characters, you do a pretty sweet scream in character.
Yeah,
that was dope, dude.
Screaming in character for voice acting is actually a little different than doing it while you're on stage and stuff, because you're not actually screaming. It's mostly projection, where you're doing more like, I'm getting the voice to the mic faster. I'm not actually screaming. I will say, though, that I actually did scream several times making that recording for you, and I scared my mother-in-law in the other room. So that's always a good thing. Always. Granted, she has heart issues, but I mean, I'm not super worried about that.
That just means it's working.
Indeed. Also, range-wise, I'm stuck down in the lower ranges. Like I do a killer Frank Sinatra, some killer Johnny Cash, but like when it comes to the higher notes, I can do an Ed Sheeran song every once in a while, but is there like specific stops I should be using to get to the higher notes when transitioning? Or because I like to go from the lower notes to the higher notes, but once I get to the higher notes, they're not fully they're not there. Is that warm up or?
I reckon you could sing high, dude. I've heard it in the voice acting, and a lot of the time, like the speech level singing thing is like, if you can speak it, you can hit it in singing. I would suggest, again, I am no expert, but I'll say a couple of things that work for me. One, mixed voice, boom, and the other is opening the back of your throat.
Sorry, bro, you're cutting out.
Every time I try and impart nonsense, it's,
Sorry.
yeah, it's all good, dude. Yeah, I would say mixed voice definitely is good for that. Vowel shape, vowel modification is pretty significant. And just opening the back of your throat. I mean, it's song by song, but for me, that is that yawn thing you do, that little thing that opens the back of your throat.
Yeah.
One of my singing teachers taught me to just keep that open at all times, not full yawn, but just up, and you have more resonance there. Combine that with the mixed voice, that sort of nasally sort of thing, and you get some nice. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say, man, because as I say, I'm no expert, but there's these little techniques you can do that help, and breathing is big as well. It's actually usually less effort to hit the higher stuff than the lower stuff, because the vocal cords get smaller, they get thicker when you're going lower, and it needs more air. So it's actually, you can do it, dude. I know you can do it.
I'm working on it. I believe you. I am working on it.
And I believe in you.
Thank you. Vince Womack says, mother-in-law is an anagram for woman Hitler. That's great. That's good to know. She can be sometimes. Not going to lie. But then again, I don't know any. Do you like your mother-in-law?
Yeah, she's right. She's right. I'm not going to say anything negative on this stream right now.
I will. My mother-in-law is a crazy bitch. There you go. None of them watch my shows, so I can say whatever I want.
Fantastic. Yeah, I'm not even sure my wife watches X-RL7, so it's fine.
Yeah. I was having a conversation with comics last night, and I was all like, so I know you don't watch Talking with TalksALot, but we got Mike on tomorrow.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, but comics has been on the show, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's made it once. As with most people, it's a scheduling conflict, especially if they're in the United States and they're a normal working adult. Because most people are at work right now, being that it's almost noon our time. But I mean, I'll have him back on eventually.
Yeah,
this is just literally the only time that I have available to do this. So, because I'm now working 7 days a week. Last week it was 6, but now it's 7. Super fun.
It's very friendly to us Brits.
Good to see you. So Mike, I'm trying not to ask any of the questions that comics asks and always gets shot down. Do you have any other appearances or anything going on soon? Like,
you mean like live streaming like this? Oh, frozen.
Show? I don't know. Are you getting out there?
Sorry, I got a freeze there. Not sure if it was you or me. Could you please repeat that?
I was just wondering, are you doing anything to like promote X-RL7 and stuff outside of the YouTube world and Twitter and stuff? Or
aside from the occasional adverts on YouTube and Facebook, not really. Not in a real life way. I need a real life Alfie. You need a real life manager to help with some of those things, because there's a lot of hats to wear.
Oh, God, there are.
Definitely, I mean, in real life, I've only got 2 hats. So, I mean, metaphorically, but... Oh, frozen again.
I go. Fucking internet. I'm about to drill a hole through my floor so I can just hardwire this bitch. Because it's not hardwired. Because it's like 100 feet away from my modem. But anyway,
I don't know if it's you or me. Because, got the new broadband too.
Yeah. I feel you. But, so, yeah, you do wear a lot of hats. I mean, you are you responsible for most of the writing on the show, or do you have
yeah, man. Yes.
My name, the guy that plays Alfie.
Oh, Roggers, yeah.
Roggers, yeah. Does he do any
So
writing?
he on the main episodes, it's pretty much me. Roggers, he used to ad-lib some stuff, and I put that in the credits as additional writing, but these days he's pretty to the script. There's stuff that's not main episode stuff, which is Alfie based, like the Manager Musings, which is a side series of Alfie shorts of him getting into little stuff. That's a lot of improv. We kind of have a basic bullet points, and he just riffs off of it. But no, generally it's
hell yeah.
I will I will write stuff and animate it and write the songs. And I'll tell you what, man, it's interesting because being the writer and not being in a team of writers can be a bit of a vulnerable thing sometimes, because there's certain
Yes.
times where, like for example, there's an episode called episode 14, I think. There's a character named Luna X, voiced by an artist named Nyx, and every other line out of her mouth is like some kind of sexual innuendo. It's very flirtatious and very manipulative in a saucy sort of way. And man, I tell you what, I was so apprehensive sending that to Nyx, because I'm just thinking like, oh my god, she's gonna think I'm a pervert. You know, it's like, it's a quite exposing thing to do, you know, sometimes.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you're the one writing it. You can't say, oh, it's a group of us, it was probably him. It's, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Same with political views, isn't it? Because it's, you know, you put it out there. But maybe you can relate to this as well, where sometimes people will actually suggest stuff to me. Like they'll say, oh, well, you know, it would be great if my character did this. It'd be great if, you know, my guy did this story arc happened. But the thing is, I've got such a specific sense of what feels right. Like, and it's intangible and hard to say. It's like, it's hard to put into words, but you can sense what feels right for the project, for the arc of the characters.
Yes.
And it's hard to explain. And I'm curious if you feel that with your work, because like, I think with your comedy, you've got a certain pitch that feels right and is you. And sometimes I think maybe if stuff is suggested to you, maybe it's like, it's cool, but it's not quite right. You know?
Well, actually, not a lot of people give me suggestions. The only people that ever really give me suggestions are my wife and my best friend. It's just Matt. He comes up with some fun ideas every once in a while, but we usually throw those into an animated project that we're working on. With my stuff, people don't typically suggest things. My audience base is actually kind of likes the fact that you can't really predict where I'm going. But I have scrapped so many projects because I'm like, this is not Sir TalksALot worthy.
Yeah.
This feels like a Kathy Griffin joke, and I'm never going to make that joke. You know, but all in all, I would love some feedback from more people. Suggestions and stuff, just so I can get a feel for what they're thinking on it, because I do get a lot of positive feedback, but I don't get any criticism. Right. And a lot of creators would probably be like, "Oh, that's awesome. People love my stuff." And it's like, you can't grow without criticism.
You hear that, chat?
More puns. Chat, hit me up with some criticism, and it has.
Don't ask that.
It can't be about my looks, okay? Because I can't fix this. Cannot fix it. So stop asking. But anyway, have you ever received criticism that like actually changed your outlook on the way you do things?
Not that changed it, but certain ones which, you know, not really. But I'll tell you what, there was a recent one where it wasn't really a criticism, but I'll tell you a little tangent story. So the latest episode, there's the song Overdose of Emotion. It's very heavy. Andy Cizek sings it. And he is one of the few artists which tweaked some lyrics. And that's cool. I don't mind that if we can, you know, it's cool. But a couple of things he tweaked slightly changed the meaning of the song to how I was feeling it.
Yeah.
And this happened once before in another song, but that was the meaning didn't change. And so as a creator, I've got a decision. It's like I could ask him bring it up and he'd probably change it back to the original.
I'm sorry.
Whatever.
You froze again.
Damn it. Where did I get up to?
And again. You said that you had said that someone else had done similar to changing the lyrics in the past, and it didn't change the feeling of it, but this time it was different.
Yeah, there was well, Andy changed a couple of words, and you got to make a decision. You got to say, I could tell him, and I'm sure he would change it, but it already took. Usually, it takes quite a long time to get the audio in, and especially with someone that's going on tour a lot, you can either say you can bring it up and wait another few months or weeks, or you can just say, okay, it's fine. And there's one line or two in the latest one where it's fine, man. Andy sounds amazing. Don't get me wrong. He's fantastic. But there's a couple of lines where it changes the meaning slightly. And I got a comment the other day of someone literally mentioning one of those lines, and it was like a little dagger. It was like, oh man, yeah, maybe I should have said something. But typically, if there's a critical comment, I just ignore it. But there are a couple when you kind of know it yourself. Like someone made a comment about a color scheme once, and so I was like, yeah, I do think the colors could be a bit more vibrant. So from that point on, I did slightly tweak the brightness in the Adobe program, video editing program. So I guess in one of them did affect me, but typically the comments are shit. You know, the negative comments are nothing. You know what I mean? Like, and they're usually people trying to show off something about themselves. You know what I mean? Like, it's more about the commenter than actually critiquing the work. So yeah, that's my vibe on it.
Yeah, so I've noticed that a lot of comments that are negative or critical of anything don't actually have real substance to them. So I will agree with that. Apparently,
so it is for more. Sorry, go on.
I'm sorry. Apparently, it's my internet that's causing these issues. Your feed is fine for the viewers. So I'm going to stop interrupting you when you freeze and just try to piece together things.
That's right. It's like the film Memento.
Yeah. Oh, my God. That was such... I had to watch that movie 3 times to fully understand it.
Yeah, that's such a great film, though.
It is. It was so artistically done, too. Like, the way that everything came together in the end for the beginning, or whatever you want to call it. Katina Martin says she's never heard of Newgrounds. I wouldn't, no offense to Mike or anyone on Newgrounds, but unless you're looking for porn, I wouldn't really go there anymore.
It has changed. It has changed.
Yeah. I used to go there for like super great Flash games and stuff like that, and your occasional comics and cartoons, but now it's just a lot of porn. Hail release the McCracken.
Yeah, it used to be like seeing celebrities in a blender or stuff like that. He's gone again.
Sorry, I did it again.
Yes, it did. Newgrounds used to be pretty edgy, man. It used to be pretty, 2000 era, Pico, all that stuff.
Pico School and stuff, man.
Yes, madness. That's some great stuff. But you were right, man. I was shocked when I started uploading my X-RL7 stuff there. And you look at the stuff that's been uploaded that day, and it's porn. It's just this overwhelming amount of porn. It's ridiculous, man.
And it reminds me of back when I used to surf Joe Cartoon. I know a lot of people don't know what Joe Cartoon is anymore, but he gave us the wonderful things like frog in a blender, hamster in a microwave, and where has my little dog gone? The most fucked up things you could ever see on the internet before the 2000s hit.
Strong stuff, dude. Strong stuff.
Yeah, see, he knows. Hamster in a microwave.
Yeah.
Hey, Comics Division. It's good to see you, sir. I remember Joe Cartoon. Yeah, it's just us old guys that remember Joe Cartoon, honestly. Superfly. Yes, Boosh. Superfly was also great. Just the level of insults that you get there. But, yeah. I can't think of anything else to talk about. Damn.
That's all right. So good. That's right. You're closing in.
We are closing in on the hour mark. We're going to go ahead and start winding down, though. So, Mike, do you have anything going on in the near future people should watch out for?
Well, yes. Let's see. Episode 21, which we spoke about, where we've got some members of the Comics Division throwing in some voices, which is going to be really cool. And it amazes me how good everyone is at voice acting, like musicians and I'm not sure what you call commentators alike. Everyone's just blows me away with how much emotion and how much character they put in. So that's really cool. So we got that episode 21. Trying to sort out the behind the scenes for the latest episode. That's going to drop this Friday. It's turning into a chore because there's a lot of stuff to edit. And there's more music coming up and more pixels. and more inspirations videos about things that have inspired the series, stuff from the 80s, 90s. So that's cool. The next one we're eyeing up. No, I won't say that. But yeah, we got some cool stuff coming.
Good.
How about you?
I am finally working. I finally found a song that I'm working on. So this week will probably be dedicated to that. I will be on Yelling at Park Cars tonight with Comics Division and the usual Dix Division boys. Hail Blair to Blair. He says, great stream. Thank you, sir.
Is it though? It's gone again.
Oh, become conflicting with every single aspect of my entertainment life. So Thursday night throwdowns are up in the air right now. It's looking like I might not be able to make it again this week. But make sure you check those streams out on Comics Division's channel, people. He's a great guy, and he's still one of the few big-time YouTubers that gives the little guy a chance. So, yeah, and Mike's been on there a couple times, so go check those replays and stuff.
Comics is awesome, man. And Comics has got like such a cool voice. That's what I say, man.
He does. And once again, he's a natural in the voice acting world, in my opinion. He's had a little bit of experience with it, given his format on his channel with his animated characters and stuff. But
love those.
I look forward to seeing if Comics will continue doing some voice acting stuff, because he does have a lot of potential in that area.
Oh, absolutely.
Christina Martin says she'd love to see Tom and Cory do a voice off. I would die laughing. Well, honestly, I think Tom is a lot better than me, but I've been told by voice acting coaches around the world that anyone can do what I do. So I welcome anyone to try.
What was that? Was that like a derogatory comment from the voice coach there?
Yeah, the several of the voice coaches I've had have been like, well, anyone can do these voices. Anyone can do them as well as you. And I'm all like, oh, well, I'd love to see someone just pull a random Irish accent out of their ass and then transition it directly into a Scottish with being able to tell the difference, you know, or perhaps being an English proper man and then turning it into a Russian, because you know what, the Russians are cooler than Brits. Yeah, there's the laugh I was hoping for, because everybody knows Russians aren't cool. Fuck. But yeah.
Don't say that to the X-RL7 admin.
So my brain broke again.
That's okay.
This is going to be a trend today. I hope it doesn't happen while I'm at work. It'd be a shame to forget how to vacuum.
Yeah, I was going to say, I hope you're not messing with heavy machinery. That'd be fun.
Oh no. I've made it very clear to my boss that I will not operate any heavy machinery at that church. Oh. Katina Martin dropped a comment that I have to approve. It says, bullshit, they're not telling you the truth, Sir TalksALot. You're amazing, dude. That's what all of my fans and people in the real world tell me. But I've done quite a bit to piss off the professionals in the voice acting world. Mostly telling a lot of them to piss off. Because everyone wants you to pay them for less. That's why I would have an agent or a manager. Speaking of which, if you know any good talent agents, regardless of where they are in the world, you should send me a link to them and I'll talk to them. Because I am currently in the market for a new agent. I dumped Idiom almost 2 years ago. And anyone not familiar with Idiom Talent in LA, they are classified as the worst and most shady voice acting
connection, man.
Talent agency.
Dude, I think
it really didn't like me talking shit about my old agent. It didn't like me talking shit about my old agent.
Censorship right then and there. It's Odyssey.
But yeah, don't ever go with Idiom if you're getting into that voice acting talent.
Right.
Find someone else. They charge the talent. Yeah, they charge the talent to be in their roster.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's not worth your time. And
they
keep in mind, though, agents only pay attention to you if you're making money. But
I've got
They
some
shouldn't
stories,
charge you.
dude, about reaching out to some musicians, man, who
Oh yeah.
if it's probably it's a longer story than we've got, I believe, for this stream. But
You can take your time. That's fine.
well, there's been some people, man, because whenever I deal with a manager, normally it doesn't work out. It's only worked out a couple of times, man. And there was one person who he represents a lot of people in the YouTube music community, people that do covers and stuff. And when I was first starting the show, I thought, you know what, maybe it's worth an investment. Maybe it's worth reaching out to him and actually spending a bit of money on someone who's got like 1 million followers or something to see if they'd be interested in potentially grow the channel, man. And I reached out to this dude, and about 2 of his artists who were like, one of them had like 2 million subscribers, one had 300,000, mentioned the show. And of course, the first thing he asked, he was like, "That's awesome. What's your budget?" And I said a number, and he was like, "Oh man, no, they're going to need at least $1,000 per person." And I was like, "Yeah, that's not really going to happen." And then he tried to put someone else on me, and I'm going to skip to the end of the story, but I reluctantly agreed to one person. I kind of was caught in the moment. I agreed to someone for a super cheap price, and it didn't work out, fortunately. But he treated me like very much like a transaction, man. He was like, there was one point I asked, you know, do I ever get to speak to the dude? Because it's quite a personal project. Do I ever get to speak to the people? And he was like, we don't like to let the talent and the buyer talk, and that's absolutely necessary. And when that phrase came out, talent and buyer, it just turned me right off. I was like,
that's understandable.
And he was like, the way he communicated, man, was like these really short, lowercase emails, like as if he'd just done it on his phone. Like, oh, so is the guy working on the thing? He's like, he's working. What you mean? He's working on it, or he's too busy doing something else to work on it? He goes, working on it. It's like, it's really short, sort of like you don't know what's going on. And yeah, that's a longer story. I'm condensing it, but yeah. But the funny thing is, there's someone else in the show who's on his roster who I reached out to personally, who's on the show for free, and we just split some song royalties. And if I'd gone to him for that person, he would have wanted like $1,000, man. So managers, avoid him.
Yeah. Hail riding with Charlie. Good to see you, bro. Yeah, I've run into that a lot since I actually jumped into the music world, of people wanting me to pay them money to promote my music.
Oh.
And a lot of them are asking ridiculous prices, like the $1,000 per person, and et cetera, et cetera. And it's completely right what Omega Star says here. They do not represent, they exploit. And it's that way in the agent world too. If you have a talent agent, they're going to exploit the shit out of you. It's not always good. It's not always acceptable, but it does fucking happen.
Yeah.
The best thing you can do is remember your value as an artist, your value as a person, and you have to know when to tell these people to sod off. Because if you don't, then they're going to own you, every little aspect of you, for the rest of time. And the only thing that kills independent creation is it no longer being independent. So there you go.
Yeah.
But ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take off. So thank you all for joining us. It's been a wonderful time. Make sure you subscribe to X-RL7. They are a fantastic. It is a fantastic. I can't say they. It's just Mike. I mean, this guy's a machine. Look at him. Damn.
We've got some good voices.
Yeah. The good voice guy on Twitter. Follow me if you can. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and stay sexy. Don't get murdered. Have a great time. And as always, I'll catch you next time. Now I'll push the button now. There we go.
He's my brother, he's my pal, we all live in Arkandale.
You're supposed to be telling people to push the like and subscribe buttons.
Man, shut up. Ain't nobody want to hear that shit. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm practicing for my family reunion